Hello guys, welcome to the Udemy SketchUp 2025 Masterclass. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how we can create 3D terrains in SketchUp very simple and easy. Most of the time, we don't know how to generate topographies in SketchUp or 3D softwares because maybe it's a little bit complicated action, but right now, totally in SketchUp, it is one of the most easiest ways for drawing topography or 3D terrain for your project. Sometimes you need to design a villa or some type of exterior design which is located inside the jungle, forest, plain, or some other things like that. But we don't know how to generate the environment. It is very simple. Let's get to work and jump into it. First of all, I'm going to right click on my toolbar in here and I can find multi-type of tools which I have in here, which name is, one of them is Sandbox. But you can go to the view toolbar and select the sandbox from here and press close. I can left click and drag it to this part of my job. Alright, we have 5 or 6 actions which is related to the sandbox tool. First of all, I want to draw my plane and generate some type of shape for it. So we need this option which name is from scratch. If I click on it, I can move my cursor to the origin point, left click, and start drawing. For example, I want to draw some ground with about 100 meter, and I'm going to expand it on the red axis about 100 meter again. Now I can move a little bit far from my object in here. Alright, when I click on it and right click, it's a group. So I can double click on it and go to the setting of it. First of all, I can press Ctrl A on my keyboard, all of them selected for me. Now I can right click and click on the reverse faces. So now I have outer face for my main view and inner face for my secondary view. So I'm going to double click on it and now I want to extrude this plane, but I don't know how to do this work. We have an option in here which name is smooth option. If I click on the smooth, you can see my cursor will be converted to the circle with some shape like the move on the vertical direction. At the right side button, I can see the radius which is about 10 meter. Before I clicking on my screen, if I type 40 meter and press enter, you can see the radius of the circle expanded for me. For example, I want to type 26 meter and press enter. And now you can see my radius of the circle get smaller. So I can move my cursor at any point that I want. But for example, I want to select this point and left click. When I click on it, as you can see, we have multi-type of yellow vertices near to our project. And clicking area. If I move my cursor to the upside or downside, I can make some shape for it. For example, I'm going to move it to the upside and even you can type the number that you want. For example, on the upside, I'm going to type 8 meter and press enter. And for here, I want to type 32 for my radius, press enter. I have a bigger circle right now. I can select this area for my sandbox and extrude it about 16 meter. Or I can type 22 meter for my radius and another time left click and move my cursor to the upside. For example, this time I want to upside it about 12 meter. And very simple and easy, you can increase the radius about 30 meter and another time click like that and generate your landscape or 3D terrain. Very simple and enjoyable. For example, I want to type 16 meter for this one. In this area, I want to extrude about 20 meter. In here, I want to extrude it about 9 meter. And in here, generally, I want to extrude it about 8 meter. As you can see, we generate the terrain or our, for example, mountains or anything that you want to call it, which is related to the nature. Very simple and easy with the sandbox, or even you can use sandbox if you have a creative You can use it for generating some type of structures for the buildings or architecture projects. It depends on you, but most of the time we use Sandbox for creating 3D terrain and landscape. So after all of these works, if you want to increase the detail of your project, you can click on this option, which name is Add Detail. Right now, I don't want to do this work because it's a little bit heavy work, but I can try it for the smaller scale. For example, we have this option in here. If I click on the smooth and change the radius, you can see it will be extrude very hard for me and it is very tough. So for this reason, if I select all of it and click on the add detail, the segments will be increased and it helps me to make a much smooth projects and extrusions for my sandbox. So everything is done for me, and this is only the thing which is about the add detail, so don't worry about it. But how I can add something, for example, something like pass on my project? Maybe it's a little bit complicated. For example, I want to draw some box like that, for example, 13 to 11, and increase it like this, about 8. Imagine this box is the house or villa or anything that you want, and now I want to move it in here. So how I can fix it exactly on this point? Alright, I'm going to click on the move option, select this endpoint and move it to here. Or no, from this side I'm going to move it to here. It's not make sense because it's a very hard and time-taking work. So how we can fix this problem? Imagine this is our villa or house or anything, and you want to put it exactly on this topography. In SketchUp, you have a much easier way. You can move it to the upside, click on the rectangle, draw some rectangle on it, and extrude it a little bit, for example, 0.5. Click on it, make a group. And now we have an option in here which name is stamp. If I click on the stamp option and my object selected for me, now I only need to move my cursor on the sandbox. And you can see what will happen in here. We have an exact rectangle on our topography, which we can control it with our mouse or cursor like this. Now I can delete this one, click on this, and move it exactly on this point. And this is how we can fix our project on the complicated terrain or landscape that we have. On the other hand, sometimes you need to add some special shape on your landscape. For example, I'm gonna right click on toolbar and click on the views in here. So I'm gonna use these views. These views helps you to change your camera. For example, this is the isometric. This one is the top view, or front, or right, left, back, or even from the bottom. So it completely depends on how you want to use it. I'm going to click on the top view in here. And for accurate drawing, I'm going to click on the camera and use parallel projection. I'm going to click on the circle in here and draw some circle with some radius about 16 meter. I'm going to click on the offset and draw some offset for it about 2 meter. I'm going to delete this surface in here, triple click on it and click on the make group. Now I want to move it near to my area like that. Move it a little bit to the upside, something like this. Click on the top view again. And now move it like that. Something like this, for example, imagine. So, how I can add this pass on my topography? If I click on the stamp option, if I select it, click on the stamp option, the thing that's happened is that the SketchUp can't detect the layer. It will detect whole the circle, so it's not really useful for me. In the SketchUp, I only can add this pass on my topography, and this is the only way that we have right now. So for this option, you need to select your circle, click on the option which name is drape. If I click on the drape, now I can only one click on my topography, and you can see what will happen. The pass exactly copied on our topography, and you can change it or define it by the materials or something like that. This is another tip for our project. So I'm going to delete it like this, and it's totally all the things about the sandbox and how we can generate 3D terrain or landscape in our projects in SketchUp. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. If this tutorial is useful for you, please follow all the practices and structures. See you in the next session, and goodbye.